exercises for neck, shoulders, thoracic spine. These 4 exercises will benefit all of those different areas. So the first one is the doorway stretch. Finding a doorway, forearms need to be flush against the door frame. Ideally, your elbows are at shoulder height, but you can play with that for comfort. We want 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and knees bent. Key points here, we want to just use the door frame to support the arms and move the body through without altering the position of the spine. So it looks like this, forearms up. My weight is shifting forward onto the front foot, and my head and neck and low back are staying in the same position. We want to hold this position for about 20 to 30 seconds. Idea here is that we're opening up the front, chest, shoulder area. Sometimes we might feel a bit of binding around the shoulders. And if that happens, you can do a couple things. You can change the position of your arms for comfort, and you can just back off so that you're not getting so much around the shoulders, but more across the front of the chest. We also want to switch feet. We don't want to do it the same foot forward every time because there's a bit of rotation involved. So we also don't want to be arching our back through, so we don't want this, and we don't want this. We don't want to be sticking the head forward. We also don't want push-up position. Okay, so proper form is forearms flush, 1 foot forward, gently shifting the whole body forward, leaving the arms behind, getting this nice chest opener. Your fingers might tingle, that's okay. You should go away within a minute or 2 of bringing your arms down at the most. Okay? Next one is really great in combination with that. So if I have you do 3 doorway stretches with a set of 10 repetitions of this exercise in between. So always when you're standing doing exercises, shoulders back, think tall. So it's lengthening the spine upwards, the posture is good. Palms are up here, elbows in, and forearms are parallel with the floor. So we're not here, we're not here, we're just 90 degrees. We want to engage with the shoulder blades. That means pull the shoulder blades together and down, and then follow with the arms, pulling the band through as much range of motion as you can. So we're better off using a lighter band if we're restricted by strength. We want you to have a band that allows you to go through full range of motion, but without pain. Nice and slow. For 10 repetitions, it looks like this. So what works really well is to do 10 of these and then take a break and do a stretch in the doorway for 20 or 30 seconds, and then do another 10 of these and go through 3 rounds of that. Shoulders stay back the whole time, because remember, the posture that you're in when you're strengthening is the posture that your muscles will hold you in. Okay, so that's TheraBand external rotation. The next one I want to show you is the TheraBand rowing. Since we're on TheraBand, this might not be in the same order as on the sheet. So we want to find something secure somewhere between hip height and chest height to secure the band. Just wrap the band once around your hands. The band should be holding your arms. I'm not holding my arms up here, the band is doing it. It's the tension in the band. Feet should be hip width apart, knees are bent. You have a nice strong core. So your abdominals are engaged. If someone was going to come and push you over, you would be sturdy and stable enough that you wouldn't fall backwards. From here again, we're engaging the shoulder blades. That's always the first thing we do. So pull the shoulder blades back and down. Follow with the arms, pulling the resistance of the band. That's how we're going to get the strength piece. Engage and pull. So lots of work going on in the upper back between the shoulder blades with this motion, and everything is moving backwards. If you look at my arms, my forearms are staying horizontal with the ground, so I'm not down here and I'm not up here. My arms are just an extension of the band, and everything is moving backwards. What we want to be careful of here is this. We don't want the shoulders tipping forward, and we don't want the shoulders in front of the elbows, because that's the type of posture we're trying to correct. So we don't want to be reinforcing it with this type of movement. We want everything moving backwards. Opening the chest, squeezing the shoulders, and pulling everything back. So nice and slow for 3 sets of 10. repetitions would be great. You can go up to 12 or 15 if you want to, with an appropriate band so that you feel there's work being done. Notice how my body's staying nice and still and stable through the motion, and it's the upper back doing all the work. Okay, TheraBand growing. And then the last one on that page is a really great technique for mobilizing the upper back. So from the lower rib cage to the top of the thoracic back, below the neck. This is the thing I asked you to make with the 2 tennis balls in the sock, tied up tight. I'll show you 2 different ways. Ideally, you can do it lying down. The firmer the surface, the more difficult this will be, the more uncomfortable it'll be. The softer the surface, the easier. And then if that's too much, I'll show you how to do it up against a wall. So we'll start by we're gonna lay down on these balls placed at the lower part of the rib cage, not in the lower back, up where the ribs start. So we're gonna lay down on the balls. Knees are bent. Head is supported. So I'm just suspended on the balls right now. And what I'm gonna do is keep my lower back and pelvis grounded and just stretch my upper back backwards over the balls. It's an incredible amount of pressure on the spine, but it's a really nice way to mobilize these joints. Then you wanna work the balls up the spine by moving yourself down. So I just lift my hips, pull my heels in towards my bum, and now the balls are moving up my spine. Now they're in a new spot. I'm just lowering the upper body, keeping the lower back firm. And I'm supporting my head completely with my arms, trying to keep my neck in a nice neutral position. I can keep going up by rolling myself down, the balls moving up. Now the balls are kind of at the top of my shoulder blades, and I'm doing the same motion. Once we get to the base of the neck where the big bump, bony bump is, we don't go up any higher. And actually sometimes here it helps to lift your hips up so you get pressure of the balls on that area. Okay, so this is quite a strong technique to create mobility through that area of the back, because when we get stiff this way, it throws our neck out of alignment and it's hard for our shoulders to move properly. We need to have that mobility through the upper back, and that's what this exercise is for, but it can be quite intense if you haven't done it. So I'm going to show you how to modify it against a wall. Basically do the same thing. You'll get the ball placed, lower rib cage. You're gonna pin the balls between your back and the wall. Your feet have to be quite far away from the wall here. You won't have enough pressure to manage this exercise. So my body weight is, if the wall wasn't here, I'd fall backwards. That's basically how you want your body to be placed. And from here, I'm just gonna do some little mini knee bends. And if you look, my knees are not going anywhere near past my toes. They're stopping it around my ankles, and that's to protect your knees. And my hips, knees, and feet are staying in a nice straight line. So little mini knee bends, those balls are rolling up and down the lower part of my kind of rib cage. And then we can work that up. So to work it up, you get out of the position. If you have the mobility to move those balls up your spine, and again, get your feet out so that you've got lots of body weight pressing on those balls. And same thing here. Small knee bends. Now the balls are just up higher. It's the exact same thing. So lots of pressure there. And then if you've got the mobility to do it, you're gonna move those balls up one more notch. So they're right at the top of the rib cage, and you're rolling them up between the tops of the shoulder blades. You notice my spine is staying relatively straight, and my knees aren't going past my toes. So this might be an easier way for you to start this exercise, because on the floor it's pretty intense. But it works wonders if you can work up to that. If you don't have the mobility to get the balls there, you can tie a piece of band around them, like so, and then you can use that to help you position the balls. if that makes it easier for you. And then you don't have to be reaching up so high. So that's a little trick you could use. Okay, so give those a try. All 4 of those exercises work really well together and will help neck, shoulder, and upper back issues and problems.